What's new? The question asked on this Joseph W. Brady online report. Is the economy gloom or boom? What's the story on the value of homes throughout the Mojave River Valley? And what are pitfalls of the $1.9 trillion rescue plan?
Well, Terry, the economy is booming, contrary to what we're hearing out of Washington. First thing that's new is I decided last month not to cut off the mustache after I went to my hairdresser, Jay Tron, over Talking Heads, and he had a couple customers that apparently had watched a past video that you had done, and they had commented. And I said, well, what do you think? Should we take it off? He said, Joe, you can do whatever you want, but he said it is obviously very, very gray. And so for those that don't know, I do not dye my hair. I give gray, I don't get gray, but obviously I've got my mustache. So we've got a great real estate market right now, probably the best one that we have seen in a really long time. I got to do a little shout out to our friends Bobby Trango, Mike Arias over at Chicago Title. Those two sales people, not sales guys, are some of the top in the country, and they've done a really, really, really good job. So I'm going to have them send you over the JPEG that talks about home sales up here last year. Their sales that Chicago Title Track shows 6,135 homes sold up here. What, Terry, I find staggering, okay? I mean, really staggering. But check this stat out. According to Bobby Tarango and Mike Arias at Chicago Title, we had 211 homes sell for over $500,000 last year. 211. We had 154 homes sell between $450,000 and $500,000. We had 261 homes sell for $400,000 to $450,000. We had 690 homes sell between $350,000 and $400,000. Now the sweet spot has been in that $250,000 to $300,000 range. So in that particular, the highest range where the most amount of activity was, and it was very, very close, was the 250 to 275. There were 862 homes, and the 275 to 300,000, there were 843. So the high desert real estate's doing really well. We are on the commercial side. It's tight. We've got a great amount of activity. We just closed a deal last Friday, longest escrow we've ever had, 4 years. I can't say where it is. It's a very controversial. It was a project that has been very controversial. It's been dormant for about 15 years. And sometime we believe next year we're going to be able to make the announcement that we actually did. We brought the piece in that kind of will make the dominoes fall. So, it was one of those deals that we had a buyer and seller that did not get along very well. They didn't get along at all. And they had spent millions of dollars going after each other, and ultimately we sold them the property that they went to litigation on. So, but no, industrial's doing great. I mean, they're grading the Modway project out there on I-15. We're starting to hear more industrial developers wanting to come up the hill now. The speed train, while that has been delayed until probably October 1st now, they are in full design. One of our local engineering companies, that's a national company, is working on the design, which is great. I talked to one of the principals the other day. So that's good to see that we really have kind of that our valley kind of gets a piece of that. And you'll have then, so the first piece goes from Apple Valley, from Dale Evans Parkway out to the state line, and then from state line into Las Vegas. The contractor on that is Las Vegas Paving. I can't say who the contractor is on this side because we're working with them, and they'll be known well soon. Then the next piece goes from Apple Valley down to Hesperia, and then Hesperia down to Ranch Cucamonga. So if I were somebody young and I couldn't find that quality job that we really hope we can find you on up here, okay, that's the reason, and hopefully people come up here. You're going to be able to go up and down that pass on a speed train pretty quickly and work down below and make really good wages and come up here. So that's great news. Tapestry has been pushed back a little bit to June versus an April grading time. Just talked to John Ohanian recently. They're still full go. Ranchero is still planned in the $52 million. The city of Victorville is finalizing the final contractor for the Green Tree extension. So I mean, we're watching that. Myself and some partners and I own Green Tree and Hesperia Road, where that hill is, and so we have two little centers that we're going to build there. Things are looking really good. I mean, it's kind of contrary to what you would think. I mean, so I'm hoping that the Fed maintains their financial policies of what they are, but I do think that the 1.9 trillion, loaded up with just a bunch of pork, is not going to help out people that it was really intended to. And when inflation starts coming, I mean, I remember when interest rates were almost 21%. I'm quite surprised where we are 2 months into a new administration, one that I don't quite agree with, one that I think is tearing our borders apart. I mean, I just read the Department of Homeland Security is asking for volunteers to go down there because we're getting so many people over. I also want to make it real clear to people that I absolutely believe in legal immigration. I would hope that we can come up with a partisan bill that will deal with this ultimately, but we all have to do it the same way. And I think that the current administration, I mean, they control Congress and they control the Senate and they control the White House, need to figure out how are we going to pay for all this? Who's going to pay for all this? So, the $1.9 trillion that will be signed here in the next couple of days, and probably about the time that this comes on out, Terry, only 9% of that has anything to do with COVID. So Schumer gets a bridge somewhere, and Pelosi gets some tunnel somewhere, and the arts and the humanities get $300 million. I don't think that people understand that somebody's going to pay this. So in my office, we have some younger people, and I've said to them, this is going to impact you, and it's going to impact your taxes. So the next thing we're going to see is we're going to see a round of tax increases. I think the concern now is going to be is what inflationary pressures will we see from the Biden stimulus. I was really disappointed that when he came into office, he said, we're going to work together, we're going to bring everybody together. He hasn't made one effort to do that. And I think for younger people watching this, whether you believe me or not, older people watching are going to say, yeah, he's right. We're going to see inflation, and that's going to erode against the dollar that you've got, and your taxes are going to go on up. And when Terry, I think when in 3 years, when people start seeing tax increases, now you're going to get their message. So in some ways, I think that Biden is helping the next administration. Okay, I think that the 2022 race is right around the corner, and I think you're going to see the shift. I mean, they already know that there'll be a shift in Congress. So we'll see. I'm feeling good about the economy. Yeah.
How Joseph W. Brady feels about candidates for the Spring Valley Lake Association election, golf course and country club situation, and Municipal Advisory Council candidates on our next report. Thank you for being with us this time online.